Good evening, and welcome to this episode of The Chop with Marvin Lee. It's been a minute since I've been with you guys, and it's been a minute, and I'm back. Glad to be back, uh, and I want to talk about some things tonight that that are going to be they matter to me, right? Um, and I'm actually doing. I don't know what this thing is doing here. Guys, give me just a second. I need to end this stream and I'll be back just in one moment. Or actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to remove this one stream. We're going to save changes. We'll worry about X next week. Um, but at any rate, um, this episode, I want to talk about what faith is. I've been away for a minute. A lot has been going on. I've had some significant changes in my life. I've had some significant events. I've reached my 51st birthday on August the 6th. Coincidentally, on August the 7th, the CHOP celebrated its 1 year anniversary, and I didn't do anything special for it because I was dealing with some things. And that's okay. You know, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to just be sometimes, and I found myself dealing with a lot of personal issues. Nothing's crazy wrong. In fact, things are right. And that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight, and being able to get to a place of vulnerability where it's like, you know what, I'm talking about faith, and one definition of faith, it's biblically speaking, faith is a belief and a trust in God based on evidence, but without total proof. The Bible defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Now, disclaimer: as I am reaching out to you guys, my opinion is just that. This topic is faith, but I have an opinion on that topic, which is why I have a podcast. But it's important for me to let you know or to remind you that anything that I say is my opinion. However, my opinion is shaped by my experience relevant to the topic. And that's not to say that I'm right. That's not to say that I'm wrong. That's not to say that you're right. That's not to say that you're wrong. But according to whatever your experience says, is going to dictate your trust or your truth according to what the topic of faith is centered around. So again, with me, from that religious aspect, we already talked about the biblical aspect. Religious faith is confidence based on a perceived degree of warrant or evidence. Confidence based on a perceived degree of warrant or evidence. Skeptical faith is simply belief without evidence. I don't have the proof. I don't have the proof, but I believe. I don't have to see it. I believe it. I can't see the wind blowing, but I can feel it. I know it's there. I can't see my heart beating, but I can feel it. I can't. I don't know how a lot of systems and a lot of processes operate, but what I do know is that based on my experience in any situation that I've been through, not having evidence as to how things were going to be when I come out on the other side, all I knew is that if I keep moving forward, I'm going to be okay. And that is what shaped my opinion on the topic. Again, it's skepticism. Faith is simply belief without evidence. Belief without evidence. And there's been times past where we've shied away from, a lot of us, and I can say me, I've shied away from talking about faith. Why? I've shied away from it because a lot of different reasons. I grew up in South Carolina, and in the church that I come from, my faith was based on what other people thought, what other people told me to believe. It wasn't about a personal experience at that point. Until I really sought out God for myself. Normally I say the God of my understanding, but you know what? My faith, I have faith in God. That's me. This is my story. This is my truth. So I'm not here to offend anybody. And if you're offended, that's not my problem. That's something you need to look at and you need to work on. But that's not my problem. I'm not here to offend. I'm here to share. I'm here to encourage. I'm here to motivate, whatever that looks like. I don't like confrontation, but I don't mind confronting it. But again, this is my experience. So when it comes to faith with me, another phrase, faith is more than an intellectual agreement, and it expresses itself in everyday life. It works through love to produce tangible evidence of its existence. Now, having said that, I have faith in God. I cannot see him, but I know he's real. How do I know he's real? Because as I understand it, as I know it, God is love. And at the end of the day, I cannot say that I love God if I don't love people. But because of that love that's in me that I don't always know how to articulate, that I don't always know how to um, express, that I don't always understand, uh, I know that's God. And for me, because I know who God is, I don't have to look far to find him. And now if we want to break down situations and circumstances in our lives, and I bet y'all are like, I want him to get to the meat and the potatoes. Well, see, before we can get to the meat and the potatoes, I got to give you the milk first. You know, I got to be able to help you digest the things that I'm talking about. Because if you think about what you've gone through in your own life, you have proof. um, You had to believe in something before you got the evidence of the thing that you were believing for. I have to believe that somehow, at the end of the day, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to be okay even when I'm falling apart. I don't know what's going to happen, but I have to know that I'm going to be okay. I'm crying on the inside, but I know that I'm not going to, in order to get to where I'm going, I got to go through something. And where I am lately, it seems like God is tearing things away from, let me say it this way, because God doesn't tear things away. Well, let me not say that either, because God can do whatever God chooses to do. But there are things being stripped out of my life. And when I imply that God is stripping or God is taking something, it's because I refuse to give it up. There are things that I've held on to, whether it is old patterns of thinking, whether it's been old people, whether it's been old behaviors, no matter what it is, I've been holding on, and I've been standing in my own way, not able to see things. And I want to share a situation with you guys. You know, I just went through another repossession. Then I wasn't going to talk about this, but see, there ain't no way I can come on here and talk to y'all about who God is and talk about having faith and never talk about the things that I have to use my faith for, right? The same way that I have to use faith to understand that I'm going to go to bed tonight, I make my head's going to make it to the pillow without using another substance, because a lot of y'all know my story. Yes, I was heavily addicted to heavy drugs. And I have over 5 years, coming up on 5.5 years clean. So just the same way that I have to use faith every day to understand that I'm going to make it to my pillow at night with another day clean, trusting in the God of my understanding to know that he didn't bring me this far just to bring me this far. And that if he brought me to it, he's going to take me through it. So having said that, I don't get everything right in this process, right? This process that we call life and that we call living. When life is lifing and living is living, I don't always get things right. Why? Because I get in my own way, because I resort to my old patterns of thinking. When I resort to those old patterns of behavior, I find that if I keep doing what I've always done, I'm going to keep getting what I've always gotten. And that's been the case, right? So this particular time around, I was working at a particular place, and it was no longer agreeing with my spirit, right? And instead of being wise in my faith, you know, because we have there's wisdom, we should always execute and utilize wisdom when talking about faith. We can be foolish in our faith, right? And I made a foolish decision, and I can say that now. But one thing I can say, you're going to see the testimony in this after I share this story, because there's a scripture in the Bible that says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. Even if there is an affliction that I inflict upon myself, God is so merciful. Nothing that I can do to deserve it. I can't do anything to change the nature of who God is. I can't do anything on this end to make God's word null and void in my life or in the life of anybody else. But so let me just keep going. Let me just keep going. So, anyways, I made the decision at this particular job to leave, right? Because I was impatient. I was vexed in my spirit, and I just thought I knew something that I knew better for myself than God actually knew for me. I just know that I need to make a move right now, because if I have to come in this place one more day, and if I have to deal with these people one more day, I'm going to snap, crackle, and I'm going to pop. Well, the reason that I was there is because I was disconnected from God in the first place, in the sense that if I am If I am God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. What can I not change? I cannot change people, places, or things. I can't change what people say. I can't change how they act. I can't change what they do. But what I can do is change how I respond or how I react to what's going on. But I had gotten to a place that I was allowing those things to begin to trouble me. And instead of me troubling my trouble or sitting still or being still and letting God be God, I decided to make a drastic move, right? So I spoken to an employer that another place that I had worked at the time. They were like, "We've wanted you. We've wanted you since you worked at this place over here." So I step out, and it wasn't faith; it was foolishness. Because if I trusted what God was doing, where I ended up is where I'm supposed to be. But I took somebody's word and I stepped out on foolish faith because, oh, they said they want me. So I go through this process of interviewing, and push comes to shove, I didn't get that job. But I stepped away from my job in the process. I quit. I say resign. I quit. Right. Let's call a thing and not dress it up. I quit. It was foolish. Hindsight is 2020, and I'm not gonna make an excuse, but I'm just gonna give you my truth, and then I'm gonna give you. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So I'm gonna give you what I did to get through. Now I went through some stuff because of my own doing, but because of who God is, and his nature doesn't change. He came through just like he said he would, and he was right on time. But anyways, I ain't trying to preach tonight, I promise. I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit and give you some hope. But however it comes out, it comes out. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be ashamed of my profession of faith any longer. I'm not going to be ashamed to be who God has said that I am. I'm not. I've been through too much. I've been through too much to let my light be dimmed or let my shine be taken away. We're not doing that anymore. But anyways, so I quit this job. The job that I was going to, it fell through. So, oh my God. So I was out of work a couple weeks more, right? I came across another job. This particular job, what they were offering, I went in and I asked for the top of the scale for the position that I have. And they went two grand above that. It's like, this is what we're gonna give you. Did my drug test and my background check and all that good stuff. And then they were like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, we got your email address. Check your email address for your offer letter. We're gonna email you your offer letter. Oh, good. This is promising. It's gonna work out. I'm gonna be okay. 1 week goes by, no word. 2 weeks go by, no word. Then I find out that the position went to somebody else that chose to go another direction. So meanwhile, 2 opportunities have passed me by. There are jobs coming across that I'm finding out about that they're paying money, but it's not about money. It's about the mission for me. It's never been about the money. It's been about the mission. Now, don't get it twisted. Money is important, but money is not the primary thing for me. The mission is what it has to be about for me. Now, there are times that I have wanted to look at how much money I need to survive, right? Because in the state of Florida, I'm just going to tell you now, it is not cheap. That's all I'm going to say. You have to have a main job, a side hustle, OnlyFans, and commit fraud too. And I'm just not built for a few of those things because I'm not trying to go to the big house. But anyways, at any rate, so I'm out of work. May 31st is my last day at work. These positions are coming along. Certain jobs, I call these people back. They don't call me back. There was another position. I called this man, I guarantee you, like 8 weeks. No, like 6 weeks straight. Knowing that they had a position, had talked to one of the managers, and he put me in touch with the other manager. He was like, he knows about you, whatever. So push comes to shove, I'm behind on everything. My car ends up getting repossessed this past Friday because I was so far behind. But needless to say, on my birthday, the night before my birthday, I prayed. I'm like, God, this is driving me crazy. I know I messed up. I made some mistakes, but I need you. I need your help. Because I was starting to get depressed. I was starting to go stir crazy. I'm sleeping all day. I don't want to move. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I finally had enough. I came outside of myself for a moment and I said, you know what? Something's got to change. And what had to change was me. And in the process of changing my attitude, my mindset, I said, something's going to happen. And a friend of mine called me and said, now the car got repoed after the fact, but I said all that to say this, I'm not worried about that. Like I am not, when I say I'm not worried, I'm not worried. I got proof with no evidence that I will be riding soon. That's my declaration of faith because I've been in this situation not once, not twice. This is the third time. Third time is the charm. I've had to sit with me and look at me and figure out why I keep messing up. And it's not about the traumas, it's not about past mistakes, it's not about this, it's not about that, it's about this up here. And if I keep giving meaning to many of those things, I'm always gonna keep messing up, and I'm always gonna continue to make excuses for my behavior because I don't see that I'm standing in my own way. Now, I said all that to say this. So this particular friend of mine called me the day before my birthday, and I remember sounding horrible. I remember sounding like I was just done. God, come get me now. I'm ready to just you know, in my father's house are many mansions. So you know what? Come take me on to your house where it's free to be because I'm just down here. I'm struggling. I'm tired. Come get me. That's the point that I had reached, right? Um, and a friend of mine calls me from her job and says, send me your resume. This position is going to be coming up available. This is the 6th of August. No, the 5th of August, because she called me. My birthday was Tuesday the 6th. So I send her my resume. She forwards it to where it needs to be forwarded. I go in for an interview on the 6th. On the 13th, I'm filling paperwork out. On the 20th, I started my job, right? And I'm still there, and I love the job. I love what I'm doing, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. Now, mind you, the individual who was there moved on somewhere else, but the timing could not have been more perfect. I prayed that Sunday night, and it's not about me, although it is about me. It's not about me. It's about God. It's about Him creating. It was my time. The timing was perfect, and I could not script this. I could not make it anything other than what it is. Right. So me seeing this, understanding and knowing that it's about the mission that I've been called to do. Yeah, I could go so deep into this, but I just don't have time to. Not tonight. Not tonight. So again, we talked about faith being a belief in God or belief and a trust in God based on evidence. Now, the evidence is that every time that I put myself in these kinds of compromising, foolish situations, God has loved me through that, and He has opened the door for me that needed to be opened when it needed to be opened, and all I was commanded to do was to keep being who I am, not doing. Now, coming from where I'm from, back in the South, I know things that God has revealed to me and what He has said to me in terms of the impact that I have on other people and the influence that I have with people. And I've been afraid to be, or I've been afraid to act on what God has said to me, thereby being afraid of being who God has called me to be or who God has said I am. Am I more concerned with the opinion of other people? Am I more concerned with uh, uh, the praises of men rather than the approval and the praise of God, right? Because when you are called to do a work for God, it ain't easy. And it's not always the popular thing to do. It is not the easy thing to do. It is not, um, it can be downright lonely at times. You can want to go with the in crowd to the left, and God can say, I need you to make a hard right now. All the action's going on over here. And God's like, but I don't care. I need to isolate you or separate you. Or I need to get you alone with me for a moment because there's some things I need to show you. There's some things I need to say to you. And I've been in situations like that before. And for whatever reason, I've been afraid. Now, faith is not the total absence of fear. Faith steps up and says, I see that there's some fear present. So let me be what I know that I am, and let me do what I know that I do to get rid of what fear is and what fear does, because fear cripples me and paralyzes me in my tracks. And it prevents me from doing the thing that I know I was called to do in the first place. Show me your pain, and I show you your purpose. I feel pain. I have felt pain. I know my purpose. I've connected with it. And there are times I'll start walking. In the moment that I take my eyes off the prize, I stumble and I trip and I fall sometimes. But I guess what? I always get up. And now I'm in a place where I can look at myself. That rigorous self-honesty is one thing to be honest, but it's another thing to be completely and totally self-honest. I can be honest and say, yeah, this shirt is black, but takes self-honesty and keen awareness and discernment for me to say, this keeps happening in my life because of this, that, and that. and not blaming anything or anybody else for the situation, but taking full accountability and being responsible and saying, you know what, I am the reason that things are the way that they are. Until I can acknowledge the way things are with me, I can't change anything else. So being in that place where faith is something easy for me now. It's easy for me to 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 be able to um, operate in it because I've been doing it. It's like I blindly operate in faith. Um, but I foolishly operate in faith. Have operated foolishly in faith too. Now, what does it mean to be foolish? Now, God will still look out. Because it's about what is my intention. What is my intention, or what was my intention? Um, the intention. I really thought that I was moving out on the right thing at the moment that I decided to quit my job. I was impatient. And I'm grateful that God had mercy and had grace for me. And I have grace for myself, but I also am learning to give myself tough love too. I'm having to have conversations with myself like, now, Marvin, what you did was dumb beyond dumbness. What do you really have going on? See, that's that self-honesty that I got to talk to myself like my true friends, my close friends would talk to me, the ones that know that there's more in me, that I have greater potential that I'm allowing to be revealed or to be seen or to manifest, right? The ones that see my greatness even when I can't see it. And it's like, no, 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 no. I'm calling you up higher. And I do this for other people. And the thing that I do for other people, I forget to do for myself at times, right? And I'm learning in this process of faith and trust and walking with God and cultivating that relationship. I'm learning how to to come up higher myself, to power up myself, because there's so much that is in me. In my 51 years of existence, I have seen too much, and I've been called lucky so many times, and I have to remind people that I'm not lucky. I'm favored. It's a difference. What is favor? You might ask yourself. Favor is when God's hand is on your life, God's gifting, God's calling, whatever you want to call it. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. God's love is upon your life, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. As long as I choose to, or as long as I cooperate with God, as long as I cooperate with God, as long as I move in the things that God has told me to move in, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Even if I don't. Even if I don't, it doesn't change the fact that God is who he said he is, and he is not going to change. He is the same that he has always been. And that's why I can stand on that trust. And that's why I can stand on that faith. And that's why I can be refined in it. Because I know God's going to chasten or correct, reprove those that he loves. Why is that? Because as an ambassador of him, I got to look like him. I got to talk like him. I got to sound like him. I got to walk like him. Why? Because there's a category of people. There's a demographic of people that they need that love, right? So I can't tell you who God is to you. I know who he is to me. I don't care whether you believe or not. You don't have to believe in God for God to believe in you. You don't have to love God for God to love you. You don't have to understand God for God to understand you. At the end of the day, you just be a part of the process, and you don't have to. The process doesn't require your permission in order for it to work. It just requires your participation. So in other words, God just needs you to participate, because when you start participating, trust me, God knows how to be who he is to get you to change into who he wants you to be. And that's going to affect the lives of other people at the same time. And I see that in my own life. At times when I just don't want to deal with people because people be peopling, and I want to just totally shut down, shut off, and get away. I cannot, because there's something on the inside of me that I know it's a God thing that I cannot. I can't run from it. I can't escape it. I cannot get away from people. Why? Because people need that thing that's on the inside of me. God loves on me through other people. So in my darkest hour, when I needed God the most, that's when I tried to isolate from people, and God sent people my way. Why? Because in my 51 years of existence, now God can do whatever he chooses to do, however he chooses to do it. But I've never seen God get up off his throne, come down here and hand deliver me himself whatever I needed. How he does it is through other people. So the very people that I try to disconnect from, disengage from, and cut myself off from are the very people that God is trying to show himself to me through. And I have to be aware of that. Now, why would I allow myself to isolate, or why would I shut that down or shut that off? Pride and ego. So in this process that I just came through, I'm learning how to sit with Marvin. I'm learning how to go deeper with Marvin. I'm learning how to be more real with myself, because I can't be real with you if I'm not real with me. I can't ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do for myself. I am in a 12-step program, and I have actually happen to sponsor other men. I cannot ask any of them to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. I cannot ask them to do anything that I'm not capable of doing myself. And then look at them any kind of way, because they didn't do it this way, they didn't do it that way. At the end of the day, my only job is to love you where you are, be tolerant, help you understand what you need to understand, and keep it pushing. That's it. Now, again, I'm this in this place that I feel this amazing shift. It's a shift unlike any shift I have felt prior to this. Hey Tracy, hey Daryl. I've been going so fast, furiously, and hard that I totally didn't realize that y'all were here. And you're absolutely right, Tracy. There's nothing that I can do about God's favor but walk in it. Because favor ain't fair. Favor is gonna cause people to not like you. But that's not my job to worry about whether people like me or not. Haters are gonna hate. My job, haters are gonna hate, lovers are gonna love. You can hate on me all day long. I'm gonna love you, because faith works by love. How do I know that? Because the God of my understanding, God showed me. He told me that faith works by love. If you don't have love, your faith ain't working. The same way faith works by love, fear works by hate. And I want to be on the right side of the coin. I want to be on the right side of the equation. I want to be all that God has said that I can be. I want to do all that God said that I can do. I want to go every place that he said that I can go. I want to possess every land that he said that I will possess. I want to help every individual that God has brought into my life. Everybody that has been assigned to me, I want God's best and God's blessing for that, because I can't, but we can. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I know it may not be uh, um, politically correct. I don't care nothing about politics, because when it comes to politics, in the beginning was the word. The word came before politics. So if anything or anybody has a problem with what I'm saying, then that's your issue. Take it up with whom you need to take it up with. But I can no longer deny myself the privilege of being who God has called me to be. There's a yearning, a longing, a stirring that I can't help that it's there. And I want to go to the next phase of my life, and I can't get there without acknowledging that. And I've run from it for too long. I've run far and I've run fast, and I've made every excuse in the world. It's because I'm black. It's because I'm gay. It's because of this. It's because of that. And it has to look like what everybody else in the religious church has said it has to look like. And God said, no, I called you as you are, not as you want to be. There are people that are going to take issue with what I just said. And I don't care any longer, because I've spent 51 years of my life caring about what other people have thought about me. When God sees my heart and understands my heart, and he perceives, he knows my intention. And my thing is, as long as I am doing what God has said for me to do, I may not have all the answers. And I may be confused about some things, but I'm going to operate in that confusion until the confusion is no more, until the confusion turns to clarity, because I've done it for too long and I've sat paralyzed, doing nothing. And now it's time for me to get up and move beyond where I am. I'm tired of being a sitting duck. And I'm sure that you guys probably are tired of being a sitting duck too. And this is so not the direction that I wanted this episode to go tonight. But again, I wanted to do it my way. God wanted to do it his way. Tracy, I see you. Yes, God will make you uncomfortable in every situation until you walk in your true calling. If that ain't the countrified truth right there, I got so uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable where I am right now. And I don't mean, let me say it this way. Never have I been in such a chaotic environment or a chaotic situation and had such peace, because I can finally see where I'm trying to get to. I can see where God has taken me. And I'm learning that in order for this not to happen again, we got to do some real work. We got to go deep within to understand that I'm the problem. It's not you. It's not your political affiliation. It's not your religious affiliation. It's not your sexual orientation. It's not your gender. It's not this, how much money you have, how much money you don't have. It ain't about none of that. It is about me. It is about the relationship, that one-on-one relationship. I don't care what your relationship with God is like. That's between you and God. I only have enough time to focus on my relationship with God. That's it. Nothing else. That's all I have in me right now. I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I don't need to know. For 51 years of my life, in the uncertainty that I experienced, and God still came through, how much more so? If there is that certainty and God continues to be who he is, because he doesn't change. And because I know God doesn't change, I'm responsible for changing. But I'm finally at a place in my life that I want to change. I'm sick and tired of being the same old way. When I got sick and tired of using drugs, I made the change. Now I'm sick and tired of being. I'm abstinent from mood, mind altering substances, but spiritually speaking, I can be further than where I am. I can be further than where I am. I'm content with my overall life, but I'm not satisfied with where I am, because there's more. And it's okay to want more, but my more, the more that I want, is spiritual, because as long as I go within, I'll never go without. Everything that I have externally is a direct reflection or a direct result of the internal spirit work that I do on myself. And I need that. Not for you or for anybody else. I need that for me. I need my faith to continue to sustain me. I need my faith to continue to propel me forward. I need my faith to continue to comfort me when I feel like I need people, and all I really need is the presence and the love and the embrace of the God of my understanding. Jesus Christ, the anointed one, and his anointing. That's what I need. Even as I am. I don't need anybody else. And I don't mean that in an arrogant manner. I don't need anybody. I want people in my life, but I need God to guide my life. Where God guides, he provides. That's the people that I need in my life, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. I need to stay connected so I understand what each person has come along for. Did you come to teach me a lesson? Did you come to hold me down, 10 toes down with me for the rest of my life, or you just here for a season? I need to understand these things. I'm learning that God, he can use anything and anybody to teach a lesson. My job is to be present so that I can understand the lesson. Um, and because of that, I have complete trust and I have complete confidence in God that he didn't bring me this far just to bring me this far. Because I've been through some things, that there have been times that I have laid in my bed and I have cried at night, nobody knowing but God himself. And I still didn't open up and give it all to God. And now I'm finding myself in that position, having to surrender things that I've held on to for no good reason, other than the fact that it secures me. But what it was causing me was to cry victim to a set of circumstances that I was creating. And if I have the faith that I'm sitting here telling you about, then why am I not so quick to give it to God and let him do with it what I can? Because it's killing me. Little becomes much when you place it in his hands. It's a burden when I'm holding it. It's relief when he takes it, but I got to give it to him. And if I have faith that he will do what he said he would do, then it's going to be easy for me to surrender to that. It's going to be easy for me to stop trying to do it my way. I'm sick and tired of having things my way. I want what God wants for me. I don't care whether people like me. I don't care whether people hate me. As long as God loves me, I know I love myself. As long as I have his approval, I know I'm going to be all right. I have to look at somebody else and tell them they're going to be all right. But if my words aren't going to carry weight, what am I doing? Who am I? I'm just, no, it is my time. But the only way that my time is going to be what it is if I let God be God in my life, because he's going to be himself, period. But I have to give him access to my life. I have to surrender. I have to surrender. And all surrendering means is to stop fighting. Stop fighting. I give. God, I can't, but you can. And in the process of him canning, God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. God is always willing. But the question is, am I willing to surrender and to submit, to experience what he is willing to allow in my life? I say I trust him, I say I believe, but yet I will not spend any time with him. Why is that? There's an issue with me. And again, it starts, like my friend Tracy says, it starts with transparency, it starts with surrender. And for me, it started with desperation. I'm just tired. I'm sick and I'm tired of looking at the bank account and there's a whole lot more month and at the end of the money. I'm so sick and tired of going further in the hole than I'm coming out on top. I am sick and tired of a lot of things. I'm in good health. And I've dealt with some things, but I have good health. I have positive things going on in the health department, working out things that I need to do and want to do. But there's a lot of stuff. As happy as I am, I'm equally sad at times because I see where I should be, not where I could be, where I should be. And see that on a self-assessment, where I should be is way down the road. But where I actually am, let me take it back and say it this way. I am right where I'm supposed to be. Now, God is okay with me saying or believing that I should be further than where I am. Heck, I'm okay with it because I really feel like I should be. But I made some boneheaded moves, boneheaded decisions that landed me in stupid lane. I can say that. But one thing for sure, I'm not going to stay stuck on stupid. I'm not embarrassed about anything that I've dealt with, anything that I've said, anything that I've done, because at the end of the day, I'm growing. This is my now. This is where I look at all of that stuff. And I have to use all that stuff to propel me forward. No more. No more. You have to say to yourself, no more. I don't know what that more is for you, but no more. And it's more than just saying it. You got to act on it. You got to see it, feel it, hear it, believe it, speak it, decree it, declare it. I do affirmations every morning. I am light. I am love. I was made with divine intention. I can. I will. I am enough. And I was getting frustrated with myself because on the one hand, I got faith in everything that I'm saying. I know the words are manifesting, but what is my intention? I'm looking at it like, yeah, I feel all this. But at the same time, that I'm taking 5 steps forward and 10 steps backward. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, this is not on God. This is on me. So I'm calling myself out before you. I'm making myself accountable to you. I am becoming responsible for myself and my own actions. And I'm taking accountability for that because how I am today, see, this is how, again, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb. I had to take it to church on you for a minute. And the word of our testimony. You can't have a testimony if you ain't had a test. Your words are not going to carry weight if you've never had an experience with the word. And we know what that word is. Again, I have been uncomfortable because I've been disobedient. Everything else mattered more to me than my relationship with God. And he still favored me. He still provided for me. When it looks like I should have packed things up and I had family time, I moved back to South Carolina. Oh, no, ma'am. No, sir, Bobby Jr. What we don't do, we don't move backwards in life. Remember, I told you, I'm looking at where I am and where I could be. Where I could be and where I should be does not include me going backwards, going to South Carolina. No, ma'am. No, sir, Bobby Jr. No. I believe. I believe. I have always believed. And I have dared to dream. And just because, let me put it like this. When I graduated college, I was moving to Miami, Florida. That was in 1997. Things were lined up. All I had to do was go. There was a delay. Took me 20 years to get here, but I made it. I didn't get here when I wanted to, but I got here when God intended for me to. And now that I'm here, I've been through too much. I've experienced too much. I have grown too much. I have become more than I ever thought I could be from where I came from. I refuse to stop now and go back because I look at how far I've come and I celebrate the small victories because at the end of the day, I may not be where I want to be, but by God's grace, I am not where I used to be. And I'm grateful for that. There's no amount of money that can buy that. I'm grateful. I'm happy. And regardless of whether I have the evidence or not, my faith is still strong. My faith carries me. My faith sustains me. It keeps me moving forward. My faith is allowing me to open up and be vulnerable when I need to, because even if you turn your back on me, it's all right. I know where to go to because God loves on me through other people. 3 might walk away, 10 more replace them, or vice versa. What's up, Larry? I see you there. So again, learning how to be open and honest and trusting God in the process, speaking my truth, even when it hurts, even when it's not popular, even when it makes people look sideways at me. I wasn't meant to blend in. I was meant to stand out. I wasn't meant to follow. I was meant to lead. And that's a lot of your stories now. But until you can rectify the truth of who you are with the truth of who God is, and until you can rectify who or reconcile who He is, you're never going to know who you are. You never see your potential, never understand anything. And I dare you, I challenge you to step out of what you think you know, to get away from who you think you know. Start trusting God a little more. Pray just a little bit more. It doesn't have to be some long, drawn out, tarrying in the Holy Ghost kind of prayer. It just be as simple as God, I want more. I'm not happy with my life as it is. I know I can have a better relationship with you. And I know that starts with me. And right now, there's so much going on. I got 5 minutes. I just want to give you these 5 minutes. And then it'll bump up to 10 minutes. And then 15, and then 20, and then 30. And then next thing you know, it's like a daily thing multiple times during the day. The more I do it, the easier it becomes. And that's what strengthens my faith. And that's what causes everything to work the way that it's supposed to do. And as soon as I said that, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And the proof comes the more that I interact with God. I see His goodness, the manifestation, the tangible manifestation of His goodness. Nobody and nothing can move me off of that. When I see Him move from me, regardless of what you say or what you do, hey, it is what it is, because I've seen, my eyes have seen the glory. Again, I've been here with you guys for 44 minutes now. Again, tonight was supposed to have been recorded with, I had a guest, but uh, some things didn't manifest the way that it was supposed to on his side. And again, this is God's way of saying, nah, I don't want you talking to anybody tonight. This is you. This is you. I hope somebody got something out of what I said. I certainly got relieved because I'm not sharing for effect. I'm sharing for relief. And even this podcast, I don't know where it's going and I don't know what it's going to do, but I know this is a platform God gave me and it was stirring in my heart for over 2 years before I even stepped out on faith and started it. And it is what it is. It is going to go where it's supposed to go. It's going to reach who it's supposed to reach. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I want to remind you that nothing is going to happen to you today that God is not capable of taking care of for you if you only have faith in him and if you only allow him to. You don't have to love God for him to love you. You don't have to believe in God for God to believe in you. You don't even have to trust God in order for God to trust you. You mean God trusts me? Yeah, God can entrust you. But you got to start where you are. You can't start where you want to be. Start where you are. This episode has been one of my most unusual, and which will probably become the usual, but it's been really refreshing for me, and I hope it's been refreshing for you guys. Hope you all had a good day. This is the beginning of a new week. I hope that you guys will have a wonderful remainder of the week. And then if you find yourself in a situation that feels crazy or feels strange, hopefully there's something that I said tonight that may come back to you and get you through that situation. I hope to see you guys here next week, Monday night, 8:30 p.m. It's been a minute since you've seen me. Next Monday, 8:30 p.m., I will be here. My prayer is that you will be here with me. I have faith that you will. I love you. Grateful that you stopped by. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.